So I found this gaming PC and I actually think it's quite good for the price. I did a video on the older version, which was the AMD Ryzen 5 3600 and the RX 6600 regular, which I thought was a pretty good deal for $1,000. For $200 more, you get the superior processor and a superior graphics card. So, right out the bat, looking at this thing, airflow should be fine. The case looks pretty standard. It does have decent airflow for the PSU at the bottom. Has decent sized feet. Airflow should be fine. I've had the similar case to this, but I had 3 fans at the front that went all the way down. This one only has 2. I can't see it being a problem. The cooler is not the best, but it's a little bit better than a stock cooler. Most of the time you see this with Intels, not with Ryzen's, and I've had this cooler as well, and it did its job, but it's not the best. For the price, if you're paying $30 for this yourself, there are much better coolers you can get for around the same price. Has 2 3-point USBs on top, so above all, the case looks fine. The components overall are pretty good. 500 gigabyte NVMe M2 SSD. That one is a Western Digital, so it's a great quality. I like that the CMOS battery, or CMOS battery, is actually easy to get to, because if you ever do any bad overclocking, you don't have to take the GPU out and to get to this. So that might be a stupid little thing. There isn't a guaranteed chance that you get this motherboard, but that is a nice little thing, nice little feature that I like to see, just knowing that you can just pop it out to reset the BIOS. So one downfall to this, other than the cooler, is 8 gigabyte stick of RAM, but nothing stops you from upgrading. I personally would wait to see what motherboard you get and look up the manufacturer's recommendations or what the max RAM speed is. It is 3000 MHz how it comes, but you can easily upgrade that. Ryzen CPUs really get a good kick in the butt at CL16. 18 is okay, lower is better for CL16 3600 MHz will give your Ryzen a huge kick in the butt. It will increase your performance by about 5%. It's almost like getting the better version of this processor if you have faster RAM compared to the Ryzen 5 5600X, I think is what it's called. That would pretty much compare. Let's say you had the better processor with 2400 MHz, the cheaper processor with 3600 MHz would probably have a similar performance. So that is one thing to look at. And above all, the RX 6600 XT compares to I would say the RTX 3060 in a nutshell. It kind of gets a little bit more oomph, the XT version, over it. There are a couple games they like tie, but the XT usually pulls away. The difference is 12 gigabytes of VRAM with the RTX 3060, and this one only has 8. I have a 3070 Ti, and I only have 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and there hasn't been a single game where my computer couldn't run it. So I have no worries about someone running this. I'm actually kind of considering buying this PC myself because it's a decent price, and I need another computer. I was thinking about getting a laptop, but laptop prices seem to be not the best. I missed all the sales. There are a couple things like the power supply with these. I don't think this one is Star approved, Energy Star certified. No. So that's kind of a little bit of a red flag. I got a CyberPowerPC with the worst power supply you could possibly think of, a CWT, I think it was called. It was a 500 watt, but it never blew up. I used it with an RX 580, my 1060. I thrown a ton at it, and it did not break. So I would say that usually the power supplies are a bit iffy. They're not ones that you would go out and buy yourself if you were getting it, but it doesn't run too bad. It comes with Windows 11, and if anyone hasn't used Windows 11, it's a little bit irritating. So here's where the start menu is here. For Windows 11, they throw it in the middle, kind of like the Macs, which I had a really hard time getting used to it with my new laptop. But I'm sure it's not an absolute deal breaker. I'm sure you could go back to Windows 10 if you really wanted to. I'm sure there's a way to do it. But above all, it looks pretty good. The things that I would replace in it, looking up top, There's definitely room for a liquid cooler with this because it's an overclockable CPU. 6 cores, 12 threads, should probably bring that up. I would get a liquid cooler myself as an upgrade, but first I would get RAM after you figure out the MHZ, and then a 1 TB hard drive. But as it comes, you should be able to get 60 FPS in pretty much every game you throw at it, and if you do the upgrade, you should be able to pull away. You know, Red Dead Redemption on like higher settings gets like 75 FPS with a setup like this, so that's not bad at all. If you lower the settings, you probably start pulling away even to like near the 100 area. So above all, 1200, I don't think you're going to find much better than this.